Jen, your SU President. My 3 priorities for the year are cost of living, mental health and wellbeing, and postgraduate students. For cost of living, I have created budgeting tips that are released each week on social media, created a new section on the SU website called the Student Money Hub. The purpose of the Student Money Hub is to have all things money related in one place. It has information on scholarships and bursaries, part-time work, student discounts, a budgeting planner, and various tips on ways to save money. After the launch of the Student Money Hub, I had a feature added so that students can also submit their own money saving tips. So together we can help each other save money. I've collated data from the university website on associated course costs, which are additional items students require for their degree, such as art materials, books, lab coats or trips, and plan to use this information to ensure the university are transparent so students don't face hidden costs. I delivered a report on what value for money looks like for students to the University Council, the governing body for the university. For mental health and wellbeing, I have been a stakeholder in the Student Support Review, where I have interviewed by the panel on my thoughts on the student support services at Lancaster, have been highlighting the issues surrounding mental health support and provision to the University Council, launched the Wellbeing Wednesday campaign, helped facilitate and promote various activities for University Mental Health Day by creating a centralised calendar of events, and supported student groups where possible. Lastly, I created wellbeing tips that are distributed on various social medias. For postgraduates, I have championed for the introduction of a postgraduate officer in the officer team proposal. However, this was unsuccessful due to a non-quorum referendum. In the referendum, postgraduates took 25% of the voter share. I have actively ensured that all campaigns I've done have been advertised in postgraduate spaces, organised an Eat and Critique event where PGR students came together to discuss postgraduate research code of practice, managing student-supervisor relations, and the rights of graduate teaching assistants. I encourage full-time officer candidates to include pledges on postgraduates, and with help from the Postgraduate Board and the wider union, we managed to more than double the number of postgraduates that voted in the Lent term elections up from last year. Lastly, I have been lobbying the university for centralised contracts for graduate teaching assistants that will improve their rights. Even through the challenging and turbulent times that we've had this year, we've managed to do quite a few good things for our students.
Hi, I'm Matthew, your Vice President Union Development, and here's a little bit about what I've done this year. So for me, a big focus of my year has been around liberation groups and improving the inclusivity of student groups and supporting liberation. Within this, I've been actively supporting the LGBTQ+ society and working on LGBT History Month in February. We saw a range of events from our colleges, facilitated through Social and Events Group, events and campaigns from the LGBT Society, and the Night at the Sugar House for LGBT entertainment. All in is the biggest project I've worked on this year. It's a joint project between Toby and myself, and it aims to celebrate and improve the way our student clubs and societies are run to ensure there's no barriers to participation for students. On the back of lots of research from the NUS, books, Sports England and more, we identified many barriers to participation for students, and that is the main motivation for this project. We're providing a framework and guidance for clubs to improve in a number of criteria, from supporting mental health to reducing costs as a barrier. We're really excited for this project to begin in the coming weeks and looking forward to supporting teams to achieve bronze, silver or gold in their awards. I've also represented Lancaster students' interest at Student Mind's consultation event on their new University Mental Health Charter to ensure that it reflects and tackles the issues that students are facing. I will also be finishing work with the LU Homes accreditation scheme to ensure that mental health support signposting is consistent across all accredited properties, regardless of the provider. I've spent a lot of time this year writing policy and supporting others to make changes to their terms of reference and bylaws. Most recently, I've worked with Ian Meeks, our Vice President Education, on our new cost of university policy, which takes the focus away from being purely about tuition fees to also including a wider focus on affordability at Lancaster University and the educational equality to ensure that we are all receiving quality and equal education. To support all in and to ensure that it remains an organisational priority, I have created a sports inclusivity policy which will ensure the union continues to work on tackling the barriers to participation for students in sport, and to ensure that any external organisation that we work with has inclusive practices with a focus on ethical procurement. I've also worked with our sustainability manager to update our sustainability policy, which mandates the union to work on educative programmes and campaigns for students on sustainability and how they can make a difference, whilst also continuing the amazing work our Green Lancaster team do. I've also worked with him on our new sustainability strategy, which outlines our successes from the previous year and sets clear objectives for the 2018-19 year. This year I've worked on a review of the support that we provide to our college officers to gather feedback as to where we're doing well and where there are gaps so that we can improve this going forward. This work has been incorporated into a wider review of the journey that students go on when they join an exec, whether that's a society, a JCR or a sports club. This will have a lasting impact and feeds into the Students' Union's new strategy. And finally, I have also supported our part-time officers to change the terms of their elections to be in line with when the full-time officers were elected, to help establish a stronger sense of team between the officers. This saw a huge increase in the vote for part-time officers in our elections, as well as an overall increase in votes for officer elections this year. If you have any questions about any of the work that I've been doing, then please feel free to email me or come along to the Big Summer Meetup on Monday the 13th of May to speak about this in person. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ian Meeks, your Vice President of Education, and this is what I've done this year. So my first work looked at equal opportunities in education. So something I realised quite quickly was students here weren't getting the same opportunities and weren't getting the same outcomes that other students in the university were. So my first sort of report of action was to look at the black attainment gap, the fact that black students are less likely to achieve the first or two on than their white peers. So my work on this, to start off with, was trying to get a network of people together. This was quite successful, as I was able to gain a lot of information and get a lot of people on the ground that wanted to work on the black attainment gap and also the BME attainment gap in some areas as well. I then took a paper to the university to say that we need to start working on the black attainment gap. This was received very well, and the university have now got it on their role and action plan to look at the BME attainment gap specifically, with a focus on the black attainment gap in some aspects. I also have started up electrical as well. This will help students with revision, but also help students with accessibility issues, those students who may not be able to get onto campus or may find that the lecture theatre isn't the right place for them. The work I've done on this is to start working with the university on writing a paper that will look at getting the university to put lecture recording more into place and making it more mandatory. I've also started to look at exam and assessment well-being. A lot of students, especially this time of the year, are starting to get stressed with exams. Postgraduate students starting to get stressed with their thesis. And to me, this shouldn't be the case. You shouldn't have to be stressed when it comes to assessments. So I've started working with the library, working with learning development, with the base to try and create material that will show students how to make sure their well-being is as good as it can be. We've got Food Wellfest coming on the 14th of May, which hopes to shed light on some of the issues students face this time of year, but also look at ways into improving their well-being. And we've also now started to look at student union policy to have this focus of well-being in place throughout the year, especially once they've left as well. And finally, my work on student representation this year has been very thorough. At the start of the year, I introduced 2 new positions to the academic rep system. The first position was lead rep, so I noticed that two-way communication was difficult between myself and the 400 academic reps we have here. There's also some lack of representation in the smaller groups, as there wasn't a chair to these meetings. So the lead rep can act as chair. The lead rep acts as a point of communication, single point of communication for staff across the university, and it also helps me in finding some more specific issues outside of the faculty forums that we hold throughout the year. I also implemented the EDI rep. There has been some struggles with the EDI rep position this year, EDI being equality, diversity and inclusion. This position, so there was one position that looked at race equality and there was one position that looked at women plus. There was some difficulties as university departments and faculties did have the meetings in place for these reps to sit on, like I had hoped and planned for. The EDI reps have now got a place on most of the meetings across campus that they should have a position on, and I'm starting to finish, I'm finishing off the work required to get them all implemented into the system, but also so my successors and the next FTOs will be able to get the EDI reps working straight away on the stuff that matters to them. Finally, in terms of student representation, I've worked tirelessly with the academic rep system with creating 2 conferences, one looked at partnership and one looked at academic representation which was like a training session for reps at the start of the year. Both conferences had a huge turnout, which I'm really happy with. The feedback we got was very positive, and we'll hopefully be doing the same again next year. The improvement of the Rep Academy, which is like a point system, has led to more academic reps getting involved with the system and has allowed more opportunities for them to progress in the system and to make them more representative, giving them training and also giving them the ability to go and talk to students in the square, in the library, etc. So that's everything, well that's not everything, but that is the 3 major things I've been working on this year. Hope I've done a good job of representing you, and good luck to be more good next year.
Hello, I'm Emily Delaney, your Vice President of Welfare and Community for the Students' Union, don't know if you can tell, and this is what I've been up to this year. So one of my biggest pieces of work this year has been around welfare officers. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but I was a welfare officer for 2 years for Pendle, and during that time I didn't have a lot of interaction with the Students' Union, didn't really get a lot of training or support, wasn't massively aware of student union campaigns. So this year I brought together the Welfare Assembly, where welfare officers from each JCR have all come together. We've discussed issues on campus, campaigns that we're doing, shared information and worked on collaborating. So this year we've seen a lot more collaborations between colleges, a bit more consistency in the welfare support people receive from their JCRs. Welfare officers are now equipped with pregnancy tests, and it's easier than ever for them now to receive condoms and sanitary products from me. This also means that their budgets can now be used more on campaigns rather than buying things that I'm sorting out. I'm sure you all want to know how I got on with my fight against circuit. So this year I've been working on the laundrettes. As we know, they are not fantastic value for money, very dirty, a lot of the times machines are broken. So I've been working with the university to try and find alternatives and to find other things that we can do, other companies that we can go with. We've not been massively successful, as Circuit does have a monopoly, we know that. So I've been working this year with Circuit to get better value for money for you. We've had extended dryer times for no extra cost. We've had... Sorry, I'm still going, I'll just...
Sorry, yeah, I'll
Yeah.
pick it
So in August, the laundrettes will be refurbished and they will have brand new machines that are more eco-friendly and better to use. Circuit will be coming maintaining and servicing machines quarterly, as opposed to never. And they have promised to give cleaners cards so that they can clean machines when they are not in use, and you'll be able to pay for the machines and upload money using your phone rather than the card system. And finally, one of the most exciting things I've worked on this year is the brand new harm reduction drugs and alcohol policy that will be coming into effect the next academic year. I had a lot of people come to me asking about a drugs policy and wondering why drug issues go straight to disciplinaries and aren't really dealt with as a welfare concern. Completely agree. So I've worked with the university to figure out why this is, and it turns out there actually wasn't a drugs and alcohol policy. Everyone just kind of assumed it was zero tolerance, which means that people aren't coming forward for welfare support if they need it. So we have worked to put together a policy meaning that police will not be involved with minor intimacy. Thank you very much for electing me last year, and thank you for all of your support this year. It has been fantastic. Thanking you.
Hi, I'm Isla, the Vice President Campaigns and Communications Officer. Here's a bit of what I've been up to this year. A project that I've been working on for a lot of the year is called Bike Club, which aims to bring students together through cooking and to show them that the kitchen isn't somewhere to be scared of. For this, I've done a whole range of different content, both online and workshops and activities. For example, I ran a fake away meal pack giveaway where I gave enough ingredients away to students to feed 200. So instead of students going out and buying a takeaway, they had all the ingredients to make an egg fried rice dish with them and their flatmates. I'm also currently running a seasonal vegetables project with Lancaster, where so far we've given away 225 seasonal vegetables to encourage students to try something new and eat what's in season at the moment. I've also ran cooking demonstrations where I got the university head chef to demonstrate how to make Mexican fried rice, where we gave away over 150 samples and recipe cards to students so they could go home and make it up. I've also done online content for this, so I asked you guys what you thought your student cupboard kitchen essentials were and produced that as a graphic to show new students coming to Lancaster what to buy in their first food shop. And finally, I collaborated with Mars to give away different products from their range that students could use as part of the full meal. This was at the end of term when students probably didn't have a lot left in their kitchen cupboards, so it was a great way to use up the things that they already had. I also hosted a social media conference in collaboration with the Marketing and Advertising Societies, where we brought 8 different guest speakers to campus. This event was targeted towards marketing and advertising students, plus those that have just got a casual interest in social media. And we hosted a whole range of different events, ranging from how to get a job in social media, how societies can make the most out of social media and get more engagement, mental health and social media and whether it's running your life, and the future of digital marketing. This was really well received, and we had over 150 students attending and got really good feedback from the event. As well as this, I've had lots of other things going on throughout the year. Something that I'm working on at the moment with Vice President Education Ian is our Food and Well Fest, which is taking place this term. So we're bringing students together through this busy time of year when they've got lots of exams and deadlines, and we'll be hosting competitions at the sports centre and cooking demonstrations and different chill activities such as with the Craft Society, and it's encouraging people to come together through this busy time. I've also been working on strengthening the links with our JCR communications officers, and a project I've worked on with quite a few of them is introducing college merchandise such as sweatshirts to the colleges. So that was some of what I've been up to this year. Thank you for everyone that supported me throughout the year and through the different groups and societies, and if you've got any other questions, come along to the AGM.
Hi, I'm Toby, I'm the Vice President Activities, and this is what I've been up to this year. So in terms of roses, in September I pitched to the university and secured £88,000 in roses development funding for our sports teams. In the same vein, I secured further events funding for Roses 2019, which has allowed for accommodation and travel to be partially covered for the majority of our competing athletes. In terms of mental health, this objective got off to a really great start this year with the Movember campaign. I thought it was really important to get as many of our clubs involved this year as possible, A lot of our groups really engaged in November, and seeing the incredible amount of money raised by the men's rugby union team was hugely inspiring, and I reached out to some big sporting names, and the video which we produced to congratulate them on their effort was a huge success. And as a part of the Vice President Union Development and I's all-in strategy, we're recommending welfare or wellbeing officers being a designated role of every club's executive. This is a huge win that I feel will ensure our club's environments encourage people to talk freely about their mental health and to be open and accepting of all. And in terms of growing participation in our student groups, I'm really pleased that the Students' Union will be relaunching the Give It a Go scheme for societies. I feel that removing the financial barriers and commitments to trying new activity will be a huge win for our students at Lancaster. I'm also really excited that the way that the students can learn more about societies on our website will be made a lot easier with the creation of an activities matchmaker to try and make this information more accessible coming really soon. So there's much more that I've been involved in this year so far, with plenty of projects going on currently and upcoming. So if you have any questions or want to know any more, then just feel free to get in touch with me. Thanks.